Well, hello and welcome to Communication 2136, Small Group Communication. Today we're going to start with Chapter 1. So, first of all, what is a small group? I much prefer this to happen in a classroom so I can actually ask that question and actually get responses from you. But you deal with small groups every day, whether you know it or not. Your family is a small group, work, school, recreation. You member of a bowling league or a trivia league or whatever game it is that you guys play, that's a small group. Small group is wonderful in decision making and support. Um, when you've lost somebody close to you, when you're going through a hard time, when you lost a job, the support from friends in the small group makes it easier to manage the loss. And there's many other that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. So what is a small group? Well, it's something more than two. At least three people and fewer than 20. Now, if you look up different academic scholars, they'll say 8, 12, 16, but in general, 3 to 20. The key point about small groups, though, is all participants are simultaneously sending and receiving. You know, small group isn't just let's say where you go to church and just the preacher talks, which probably more than 20 people. At least, there's a lot of churches that are a lot smaller than that. But it's something that everybody participates in. And even if the other group members aren't speaking, more often than not, they're communicating. You know, somebody once said you cannot not communicate. Um, do they roll their eyes? Do they yawn? Are they fiddling with their phone? They're communicating something. It's a transactional process. It happens all at once. It's not linear with one person talking and everybody else taking notes. The person's talking, the people are thinking, they're having their reaction, they come up with their own ideas, they interact, they interject. That's what group communication is all about. It's symbolic interaction. I am a very patriotic fellow. I spent 20 years in the Army. And one day I saw some flags that were torn to shreds in Buena Vista around the courthouse. So I went and took them down because I didn't like looking at a shredded flag. Logos. My son worked for CB&T for a while before it became Synovus, and he was a drive-up teller. And he could not have a McDonald's cup on the counter or a Braves cup or a Georgia cup. The only cup he could have there had to say Synovus or CB&T. And that symboled their group. You know, when you see people in the store with Georgia shirts on or Alabama shirts on or Auburn shirts on, they're symbolizing through that logo what group they're part of. You know, Columbus State Cougars. Go Dogs. Um, Groups tend to have a shared meaning. I was in the Army for 20 years. We said hoorah. The Marines say hoorah. So, do you know the meaning between the two? It's a shared meaning, and we could tell what service somebody was from the way they would pronounce that. Why do we join groups? We join groups because, in some cases, we have to. I mean, you want to have money to buy clothes and games and drinks and food, and so you have to work. Unless you're independently wealthy, and if so, great, more power to you. But that's one group we join is work because we have to. We join it for personal reasons. We want to. We want to interact with certain people. I am a member of the Columbus Rotary. I'm a very proud member to be a Rotarian. I really like Rotary, and the interaction I have with people at Rotary is wonderful. So I do that for personal reasons. We do it because of interpersonal attraction. We see somebody or a group of people doing something that we're passionate about or we want to do, so we join them because we want that. We have that interpersonal attraction because they have the same wants and desires that we want. Proximity. We do it because they're close to us. And when I was a young communications major, one of the professors showed us a study that said most people marry somebody from within 12 miles of where they live. And my first thought was, they actually paid somebody to study that? Because if you think about it, especially years ago, people didn't travel as much. Now, it wasn't that long ago I was an undergrad at COMM, but a lot of people that I went to high school with married somebody we went to high school with. I joined the Army and left, so I found somebody more than 12 miles away. People have the same attitude similarity. Are you a Republican or a Democrat? Which one, is more toward your liking? Are you on far right, far left, or are you moderate in the middle? You find those complementary, similar attitudes, and you want to join it. Interdependence and interactive. Group communication is interdependent. You're dependent on the other people in the group. If you're the only one talking and nobody else doing anything, it's not a group conversation. It's interactive. You throw your idea out, they throw out their idea out. Hopefully you have a diverse group, you have different sides, and it's interactive. One of the wonderful things about group communication is interactivity is exponential. If you have two people, me and you, I can talk to you, you can talk to me, so we have two interactions. If we have four people, we'd have 28 interactions. If we have 8 people, we'd have 1,016 interactions. Because the group allows us to have interactions with more than one person. The group allows us to have opinions and hear diverse points from other people. Group communication, a lot of times when a group gets going, there's something called synergy. And synergy is when working together, you can create more and better solutions than when you work alone. There's a couple of old sayings that come to mind. One of them is, many cooks spoil the broth. Well, that's kind of true. If you have too many people throwing different ingredients in there, some of them don't work together. But on the other hand, you have great minds that can bring a diversity brings knowledge. Diversity brings experience. And the thing is we are each different. I have in my email something I wrote a long time ago that culture is like a rubber band ball. Each rubber band you put on it changes the mass and density and how that ball reacts to outside stimulus. You're the same way. You grew up somewhere, culturally you have all these layers like rubber bands. And even if you grew up in the same household, I have a brother and a sister, we all grew up in the same household, same parents, roughly the same DNA, but we each are different because of the life's experiences that we have gone through. My sister and I are different because she has seen the world from a woman's perspective. And like it or not, women have a different standpoint because of the way society has treated them. My brother is much younger than I am. And so he has seen the world differently than I did. I joined the Army and traveled the world. They didn't. So I have different layers on me of culture. And when you have a diverse group of people that come together as a group, all those different layers and different perspectives and different standpoints add to the value of the group because you're not hearing and just seeing one thing. Now, there's different characteristics of groups. One of them is anticipation. When we join a group, we anticipate the interaction, the intermingling. I anticipate Rotary every week, although we only meet online now, and I'm looking forward to the day we get back together. But I'm anxious. I anticipate what I'm going to hear from other people. I anticipate what I'm going to find out, what I'm going to learn. I anticipate the joy of seeing other people. It's adaptability. You know, if you go through life as the only one, and you know, let's just say an only child, you don't have to adapt to other people. But when you're part of a group, you have to adapt to other people for the group to function. A group is team oriented. You have a goal to reach, and the team works together toward that goal. It's not all about I, it's about us. You have shared knowledge. You know, you learn something from the other people in the group, and they learn stuff from you. We have a little grocery store out where I live that's a Korean family owns. And the little old lady, everybody calls her Mama-san, bags of groceries. So one day I went through the line and I said, after she bagged my stuff, I said, "Kamsamnida," which means thank you very much. And my grandsons were with me, and they noticed I did it. And so after that, they started doing it. And she gets the biggest smile on her face because they take the time to thank her in her own language. She doesn't speak English, or she does speak very little. So it was a shared knowledge, that little group of me and my grandsons, and now they know that word or those words in Korean, and they share that with her when they come through there, and it brings joy. Group communication is about trust. You know, we have to trust the other people in the group. And if we don't trust the other people in a group, it interferes with our ability to communicate. I mean, that's common sense to a lot of people. Think about it. If you trust somebody, you're going to share more with them than if you don't. You're going to stay more guarded if you don't trust them. Ethics. Ethics is something that's very important in communication. You need to be an ethical speaker. Most importantly, in group communication, what happens in a group stays in a group. In our weekly discussions online, if somebody shares something, that's still theirs. They still own it. Just because they shared it in group does not give you the right to go out and share it with everybody else without their approval. If we trust one another, we can be open and have open communication. If we don't trust one another, then the groups won't work. Now, a real quick note on your group. Next week, I will assign groups. And when I assign your group, you guys are going to start having conversations. You need to figure out a way to communicate. You know, in the real world, y'all would get together in class and talk and everything else. But right now, we're in the COVID world. So when I assign your groups, I will assign your group and I will give you an idea of what topics I'm looking for. And y'all will, as a group, decide on what topic you're going to do. And as a group, decide who's going to do what. Make sure that you vet whoever's doing what. And what I mean by that, and I think I said this in the other presentation, I may not have, is if they say they can write, make sure they can write before they turn it in and y'all all get graded on it. If they say that they can present or do PowerPoints, make sure they can do PowerPoints. Don't wait till the last day and find out that they don't know how to do PowerPoints, because everybody's grade is going to be reflected by that. Out of the 100 points you get for the group presentation, 10 points will be based on your peer review. You are going to review your peers. And if you give everybody in your group 10 points, I'm taking 10 from you because nobody's perfect. So you need to think about that. I want an honest evaluation, something I can give them and say, this is what people think about you. Because with that honest evaluation, they can grow. And I don't think it's fair if everybody gets the same score when some people work harder than others. So that's it for chapter 1. Go online, watch the video, read my speaker's notes, and there will be a discussion. Make sure that you reply to my discussion by Thursday and then reply to 2 peers by Sunday. The reason you have to do that is if I said everybody reply by Sunday and everybody waits till Sunday to do it, you don't have anything to reply to. Unless you're up at 11:50 trying to read something somebody wrote so you can reply. My email is on the syllabus. My phone number's on the syllabus. Y'all need me, you know where to find me. Looking forward to it. Have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.